right, guys, here we go. On your whiteboard, please. Go ahead. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who's going to lead the reign of terror. On your whiteboard, please tell me who is going to be leading the reign of terror. You got to be kidding me. That is ridiculous. Who is it, team? Maximilian Robespierre. On your whiteboard, please tell me what year does the reign of terror begin? On your whiteboard, please tell me what year does the reign of terror begin? Good. What is it, Caitlin?
1793.
1793. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the government that the reign of terror ushers in? What is the name of the government? Good. Riley? The Directory. On your whiteboard, during the French Revolution, what assembly is created? That's what it's called today, too, by the way. Good. What is it? Abby? The National Assembly. On your whiteboard, please tell me whose death is going to be the official end of the French Revolution, starting the Age of Terror, or the Reign of Terror. Good. Dom? 16th. Louis the 16th. There you go. All right, here we go. So, the Directory is going to go until 1799. As we know, this is a really, really dark time in French history. Okay? Would you say democracy is doing France well? No. If you're a French citizen still alive at the time, you would not be thrilled with democracy. Democracy has failed them. There's chaos. People are dying in the streets. The Jacobians have assumed all this power, and people are not thrilled. And this is the perfect time to introduce a new man into our French life. And this is going to be Napoleon. Now, I would start a whole new title, and this is where the third and final part of the French Revolution is, and it's Napoleon. Okay, now Napoleon was born in Corsica at the age of 12. He's a poor kid. His dad had some military experience, but nothing important. Age 12, he enlists in the military. Okay, his parents can't afford to feed him anymore, so he enlists in the military. For the next 12 years, he rises up in ranks. He goes into the military during Louis XV's reign. He is already in power when Louis XVI comes in power. And Louis XVI is in power for about 4 or 5 years before the French Revolution. During the French Revolution, Napoleon is just a soldier and rising up into a general. So he's towards the end. Once the Reign of Terror begins, he is a general in the French military. So the Reign of Terror is happening. The people of France are not thrilled. Democracy has clearly failed the French. And people are not happy. So Napoleon, who is well respected by his men, it is important to know that Napoleon is one of the most brilliant military minds in the history of the world. Genghis Khan is right up there. He transforms the world. Napoleon is number 2. Modern warfare is based on Napoleon. He's the second most written about man in the history of the world because he made 3 mistakes that no one understands why the hell he would make those mistakes, because there was no reason to do it, but he did it, and that's why his entire empire is going to collapse. So Napoleon, who is very well respected by his men, he is an average citizen. He is normal, brilliant military mind, turns to his men and says, hey, what do you think about going to Paris and taking over the city? And his men are like, no, that's a coup, man. You're not allowed to do that. And Napoleon's like, no, just think about it. We could do it, you know. And his men are like, oh my God, we totally should. So in 1799, Napoleon, supported by his men, march into Paris and take over France in a military coup. He takes over France in 1799. The moment he takes over it, he says no to the Directory. The Directory is officially open and closed. Okay? So Napoleon's standing there and being like, look what I did, look what I did, I'm in charge. So he creates this thing called the consulate. So under Napoleon, you need to write, Napoleon takes over in 1799 and creates the consulate. He creates a consulate, which is a 2-man position. He employed what he thought was a respectable politician and put himself in equal power. Do you think Napoleon is a man who likes being equal to someone else? So he got real tired of this other politician guy. So in 1802, he just declared himself emperor. Because you can if your name's Napoleon. So he declared himself emperor in 1802. You better write that down right now. Okay? Once he is in power, Okay? He is going to do a lot of important things that are going to influence France. Right, Sylvia? In 1801, he is going to sign the Concordat, which is a recognition of Catholicism in France. Why is this a big deal? Why is Napoleon reaching out to the Catholic Pope in Rome a big deal, Thompson? Because they got rid of religion. Absolutely. There has been no religion in France for going on 7 years by the time he gets there. So he reaches out to the Pope. Now, why would he reach out to the Pope? Napoleon's not really a religious man at all, but why would he want it, John?
He's trying to get the people back, like, on his side.
Absolutely. He's already going to be favored by the people because the people are going to want one single ruler in charge who is in command. Does he satisfy that?
Yes.
Comes in, takes over, creates a whole new government, overthrows this democracy that's clearly not working. Comes into power. He also, people want to be practicing religion again, so he does that. He also is kind of old school in a way that of his power. What does he want the Pope to do? Remember, he's a poor kid from Corsica who's now running France. What does he want from the Pope, which is a majority Catholic country, okay?
Does he want the Pope to, like, validate his rules?
Yes, he does.
See him as, like, cool guy.
Or one who has the authority to rule, yes. He wants the Pope to give him the ordained right to rule. And that's really what the Pope is about. So the Concordat gives him the legitimate reason to rule via the Catholic Church. Now, Napoleon's going to be known for a couple big things. So the Concordat's a big deal because it's going to give him the proper right to rule. He's also going to write the Napoleonic Code in 1804. The Napoleonic Code is as important as the Justinian Code. It's as important as the first law code. What's the first law code? It's as important. Not as important as that one because that's like first, you know what I mean? But it's just as important as Justinian Code. Napoleonic Code is still being used in laws all around the world. It is one of the very few consistently accepted laws and codes of laws accepted around the world. In every corner of the world, there's laws that reflect the Napoleonic Code in every country. That's how influential it is. Now, Napoleonic Code is a good thing for a couple of reasons. It grants religious freedom for the first time and guarantees it for all people. Here in the United States, it's a little tricky. We don't necessarily believe it. Nope, wrong class, sweetie. 161. This is 160. Okay, so does it necessarily grant that in the United States? France, it's going to be law and going to be enforced. Second thing it's going to do, it is going to be a kick in the face for women. So you know how I was telling you that women were trying to, crawl our way up a little bit during that French Revolution? The reason why women were kind of crawling their way up is because the women are the reason why the French Revolution was occurring. We were the ones organizing things. We were the ones spreading Enlightenment ideas. Well, Napoleon kicked us right in the face and said, ha, you tried too hard. So women have been stripped of every single right, and patriarchal society is back in place with the government to support it. Yes. So women are back down. So that's exciting. However, it does gain all men equal rights in the law. So all men are seen as equal in front of the law. Women definitely are not. Okay, so two good things that come out of the Napoleonic Code: religious freedom, and all men are seen as equal in front of the law. One of the big setbacks in the Napoleonic Code is that women are just get back into your kitchen. Yes.
Is it all men, or is it just like
All men. All men, which is one of the few good things. It literally is all men. If you are a man, you can use it. Napoleon is also going to be the first one to really tighten newspapers. There was never really freedom of press. That's an Enlightenment idea. The United States is the first one to have freedom of press, which is immediately challenged by what U.S. president, do you know? George Washington didn't really care what they published about him. Yeah. John Adams. John Adams was a paranoid, egotistical man, and he literally forbid newspapers to publish anything negative about him. Okay, so he banned it. Napoleon's the same way. Egotistical, can't be challenged, so he banned newspapers from saying anything negative. So that's Napoleonic Code. Okay? Now, as soon as Napoleon comes into power in 1799, officially in 1801, he starts building his empire. He's immediately going to force Austria and Prussia to align with him. He is going to take over most of Europe. ladies and gentlemen, and it's really impressive. Now, Napoleon, you've heard of his name beforehand, correct? Okay. Mostly, you've known that the man has an ego. Can we agree? Okay. And that is one of his biggest faults, is his ego. He is, after about 11 years on the throne, being emperor, he is going to get the most egotistical thing. Now, who is the only person to have conquered Russia? Mongols. Genghis Khan is the only one to actually conquer it. Now, Napoleon, who knows he's a military genius, and everyone's like fawning all over him, like, oh my god, you're so great. He's like, I'm better than Genghis Khan. And to simply just prove it, when no one was really like challenging him, by the way, he decided he was going to invade Russia. Oh, Napoleon. So he's going to invade Russia in 1812. Now, he decides to leave Paris in August 1812 and start walking. Now, August in France is a hot or cold? It's very hot, apparently. I've never been, but apparently it's very hot. Now, keep in mind, you're walking from Paris to Moscow. Is that a short distance or a long distance?
It's pretty long. It's going to get pretty long one.
Exactly. So would you say this was a great time to start walking?
No.
No. Now, I think we can all agree, conceptually, when I think of Russia, whether it's July or December, I assume it's all covered in snow. I'm not really sure. Do you think winter comes early or late? Early. It starts snowing in Russia, apparently, in early September. Yeah, apparently he didn't know what happens in Russia. So, he walks to Russia. Now, it's a long gap. When your supply line is in France, in your empire, and you're walking to Moscow, is there a ton of food stores you can stop by and buy food for like 20,000 men? No, not a great plan. Also, the Russians. The Russians can't really stop an attack. Now, at this point, every European nation is completely paranoid about Napoleon. At this point, we believe in sovereign nations, correct? If I'm France, you can't invade me because you don't like what I'm doing. Remember with the Huguenots, the Protestants, they sent out this whole big decree that you can't invade a country because you don't like what they're doing inside? Yes? Every country is a sovereign nation. Well, all these countries are being invaded by Napoleon. Does that go against this whole thing? Well, the Russians know Napoleon's coming. Russia's pretty damn big. They wave the flag saying, oh my god, he's coming. So what the Russians do is they start burning their farmland. Why are they burning their farmland? Thompson? Get rid of all their food. Because if the French can't eat, can you keep a military strong? What else can't eat? Russians. Yeah, so they burn all the crops and they burn all the animals and all the housing structures on the way to Moscow. The Russians are doing this, trying to stop. By the time Napoleon's army gets to Moscow, it's in shambles. Like, it's just a hot mess. People are starving to death. People are sick. They get to Moscow. They fight for literally 4 days. And then his men literally say, oh my god, we're leaving. So all these men who walked into Russia through burnt fields are walking out of Russia through burnt fields. Do you think there's more food on the way out? So then they have to walk all the way back to Paris. Okay? So he loses 3/4 of his entire military for 4 days of fighting. So if you are the mother, the wife, the sister, okay, the cousin of a bunch of these soldiers, what are your thoughts on this? No, that's kind of an understatement, actually. They are raging about this. They are embarrassed. They are horrified. So what do? They exile him for the first time. Because it's important, because he gets it twice. He gets exiled to an island off the coast, okay, and it's the coast of Elba. He's there for about a little less than a year, okay? Well, it's an island that has literally a castle on it, okay? So he gets to live in the castle. Now, the reason why they just don't kill him is because with the execution of Louis XVI, everyone in the world is completely horrified because he's really the first king to be executed, okay? So he's executed by the people, so everyone in the world is absolutely horrified. So they decide, everyone really thinks we're all a bunch of maniacs here in France, so let's not kill him, we'll send him to Elba. So he goes to Elba, lives in this wonderful palace, and they have 3 people to feed him, cook, and clean for him. Isn't that nice? One does laundry, one cooks for him. One of them happens to be, well, apparently Napoleon thought she was beautiful, but, I mean, she was probably pretty average, can we agree? One of the 3 was a maiden. She was in charge of the laundry. Anyway, he tricks her into falling in love with him. And he convinces her to row him across the bay to France. So she smuggles him on a rowboat, and then she's just rowing her way back to France. Okay? After about a year of exile, he shows up in France. Now, do you think France is doing well at this point? No, absolutely not. First of all, they killed their king. They had chaos with the Reign of Terror. Then you have a guy named Napoleon come into power. 10 years is pretty good. Then he kills everyone on a walk to Russia. So, not so good. So, he shows up in France, and it's complete chaos. And Napoleon's like, I'm here! And people are like, oh, thank God, Napoleon, you're here. Oh, my God, we're so excited. So, he gets a bunch of people together for the military. And once he's together with all these people, he starts getting more and more people to follow him. So, from the coastline of France over by Italy, he gets this massive swelling army. So, by the time he reaches Paris, they estimate it's over 1 million people. And he comes into Paris, surrounded by 1 million people, and says, I'm emperor again. And the French government's like, oh, shit. Okay, you're emperor again. Okay. And that's how he becomes emperor for the second time. What do you mean? You ditching me? Oh, okay. So, he comes into power. Now, he's in power for the second... What do you got? Oh, your grade. Is it a B or an A? Oh, okay, perfect. There you go, darling. It's nice meeting you. I'm so sad. I was not prepared for this, but I gotta get through this. That's so sad. Hi, darling. Have a nice day. Come back. Come back. Don't be a weirdo. I gotta finish Napoleon, though. I gotta get through Napoleon. And this is recorded, so this is good. Okay, so he comes into power. Within 100 days, we have his biggest challenge, who is going to be a breakfast sandwich. What is a big breakfast sandwich? Oh, come on. It's egg. No, it's eggs.
Bread.
Sausage.
No, it's not sausage. What's like a breakfast item?
Isn't it like breakfast
Croissant.
sausage?
Croissant.
No, that's French. We're looking for British.
Oh.
Scone. A
Black pudding.
scone. That's British.
Oh my god.
No, it's English muffins. And you got like an egg.
A crumpet? No. Alright, anyway, the guy who defeats him at Waterloo. Yeah, no, Waterloo's the location. Alright, so Napoleon comes into power and he resurges back into power and he is beloved by the people. And so they go on, he goes off on this crazy military, attack on everything. And he regains all of his territory back, which is just insane. So a British guy whose name is a breakfast sandwich. I cannot recall what the breakfast sandwich is, but it's a breakfast sandwich.
Wait,
No, it's not Benedict. It's something like that. It's something like that. It's like breakfasty, though. It's breakfasty. Yes, I love that movie. Anyway, so this is his biggest. Someone Google Waterloo, and who's the British guy on the other side, please? Thank you, Ripkey. So anyway, he goes to Waterloo, and for some reason, he decides to make this really strange military movement. Don't ask me what it is, because I've heard it a million times. Do not retain it, because it means nothing to me. He makes this really weird military movement of his troops, and because of that, it gets split down the middle, and Napoleon falls on that day. He doesn't die. He gets exiled for the second time. He gets exiled to the island of St. Helena. This time, he ain't coming back. He's incredibly depressed. He's been shamed now twice. You have to appreciate a man who's been exiled twice. Okay? He gets sent to St. Helena. He gets drunk and falls down a flight of stairs.
Why would you appreciate a man who's exiled?
Because it's pretty cool. I mean, he came back and he became Emperor of France again. Like, that's cool. Huh?
Good.
Yeah, he was. He was one of the greatest military leaders in the history of the world. What he did was
He
strange.
killed his own army.
I know. Well, there's miscalculations everywhere, darling. Who is it?
He said it was commanded by Arthur Wesley.
No, there's someone else. There's another big name over it.
Type in French
Let me look
breakfast
up.
sandwich.
British guy.
No, it's British.
Waterloo British guy whose name is breakfast sandwich.
No, I'll figure it out. I'll have it later. Anyway, so what's going to happen is the rest of Europe is going to fight back on Napoleon. Now, Napoleon, this is going to show a huge flaw, that the European countries aren't unified, okay, and that there's no real rules. So Napoleon's going to fall at the Battle of Waterloo. You need to know that. He officially surrenders his throne in 1821. Okay, he's only in power for about 100 days at that point, and he'll die on St. Helena. No pretty maidens there. They made sure of it. Okay, so that is the end of Napoleon. As you can see, it's a massive empire. Keep in mind, at this point, everyone has its own military, everyone has its own borders, you're supposed to be a sovereign nation, and he takes over all of these territories. All these light colors are going to be dependent state, which means he's making the shots. It's an impressive thing. It all happens within 20 years, which is pretty cool. Yes?
I was just thinking about this, but do you think they kept Napoleon alive to use his military mind? Like, is that a possibility?
Well, yeah, France was a hot mess, and look how big and powerful France was.
No, I know when they didn't kill him and exiled him.
What do you mean? You think they put his brain in a jar or something?
No, but like they could have.
They didn't want to keep that precedent alive, because I can tell you right now, the King of England at the time is Edward V. During his reign, everyone was horrified at what the French were doing, that they become super, super ultra conservative. If you've ever seen Downton Abbey, everything's all about rules, manners, and all these different types of things. The rest of the world tries to ultra civilize itself because the French are losing their damn minds over there. Does that make sense?
So they just didn't want to keep that stereotype.
Yeah, they just didn't want to keep killing, which is why, say for instance, today the Chinese take over the United States. They're not going to kill Obama and Trump. They're definitely not going to kill Obama. They may not kill Trump, because technically he hasn't assumed power yet. Does that make sense? They're not going to do that because if they get taken over, they don't want the precedent of you kill the leaders.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So that's why. All right. There you go. There's your French Revolution. Napoleon ends in 1821. Everyone good?
Yep.
All right. So Haiti. So during the time period, Haitian Revolution is your next major title, by the way. Okay? So when Napoleon, over the 20 years Napoleon is in power, 1801 when he becomes emperor, to 1821 when he's exiled and dies on St. Helena, okay, he is going to be running a crazy scheme in Europe and is going to be conquering a ton of territory. Do you think he has a lot of time to focus on colonies? No, because he's literally collecting landmass. France has also just gone through the French Revolution and the Reign of Terror. So do you think their colonies are getting a lot of love and attention? No. So this brings us to Haiti. Haiti is the only successful slave revolt in history. And it's going to be led by a gentleman named Toussaint Louverture, which we'll see in a second. Now, the island of Hispaniola, which is what we call Haiti, today was Spanish. And then Santo Domingo is the French side. It literally has been split since the beginning. Okay, so we have Haiti and the Dominican Republic are on the same damn island, yes? Hello today. Okay, it was split back then as well. It is a very, very natural resource dense island. Tons of coffee, tons of sugar, cotton, and it's 1/3 of France's foreign trade goes to there. So is this an important island or not an important island? Very important island to France. So, okay, what's going to happen is that there's only 40,000 white people, okay, and there are 28,000 free blacks on the island, and then 500,000 slaves. So who does not have that much body mass on there? The white people. The enslavers are in very small numbers. Okay, so what's going to happen is that the organization. So the revolt's going to happen. It's going to be inspired by both American and French. The reason why it's inspired by the French is because the French are a little distracted, they have the opportunity to revolt. So in 1789, that's when you need to know, white settlers demanded self-rule, but with no equality for people of color. In 1791, you're going to have a civil war break out, and the slaves revolt. So the official revolution happens in 1791, where the slaves revolt. The French, the British, and the Spanish are going to try to interfere. Dow, why are the French, the British, and the Spanish interfering?
Because they're trying to control the trade.
No, it's a bigger issue. Why are they trying to control? Why, Zach? Why are really the British and the Spanish showing up? No. They're trying to attempt to intervene. Why? Why, Ramsey?
Because the British want to spite a friend.
There's probably a little bit of that. Why, Thompson? They don't want theirs to revolt. So if you hear that there's an island far away that has literally got rid of its European colonists, is that going to inspire you or to make you live in fear? Inspire you, absolutely. So everyone's like, oh, we gotta stop this before it catches on. Okay? So everyone's trying to interfere. Does it stop it? No, absolutely not. It's pretty cool. Pretty crazy. There's some really intense things that occur, but that's okay. So, the gentleman behind the Haitian Revolution is Toussaint Louverture. Okay? He is going to be the leader. He is going to lead the rebellion in Saint Domingo. Okay? He is going to write a Constitution of Equality in 1801. He's eventually going to be arrested by Napoleon's forces. Okay? So they get their independence, Napoleon comes in and captures them, and he's going to die in a jail in 1802. The French troops are driven out, but Haiti declares its independence in 1804 without them. Okay? First actual successful slave revolt. It's the first colony outside the Americas to actually revolt. It's a big deal. It'll start this huge rebellion happening all around the world. Okay? So, on your whiteboards, let's do it. On your whiteboard, please tell me what year does Napoleon crown himself Emperor of France? For the first time. First time. What do we got, Will? 1802. What is Napoleon's agreement with the Catholic Church called? What is Napoleon's agreement with the Catholic Church called? What do we got? T. Concordia. On your whiteboard, please tell me what is the name of the gentleman who is going to conquer most of Europe? Answer is Napoleon. There you go. Have a good day. We're in a good place, by the way. We're in a very good place that we got a lot of America. John.
1804 was when Haiti started independence?
Haiti officially has its independence in 1804.
Okay.
All right, guys. Have a